Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your boy AJTRIP, and welcome to the game according to me. As usual, we're talking about what happened last week in college and the NFL, and preview what's going to happen this week on college and NFL as well. So you know the deal. What do we do? What do we start off with? A little college football. A couple big games to talk about. Let's talk about it. So last week we had a bunch of games between top 25 teams. Let's go through some of them. Illinois beat on Minnesota 26-14. Texas squeaked by Iowa State 24-21. Mississippi took care of Auburn 48-34. Michigan with an absolutely blowout of Penn State 41-17. TCU slipped by Oklahoma State 43-40. Maybe the best two teams in the Big 12, and TCU won. That's a little to think about there, guys. NC State lost to Syracuse. Syracuse is undefeated, 24-9. Excuse me. NC State was without their starting quarterback Devin Leary, but Syracuse still put it on them. Georgia shut out Vanderbilt 55-0. Tulane beat South Florida 45-31. Mississippi State lost to Kentucky 27-17. Clemson beat on Florida State 34-28. UNC took out Duke in the Battle of the Victory Bell 38-35. And they made for the two biggest games of the weekend. Utah taking down the previously undefeated USC 43-42. Incredible. And of course, Tennessee kicking their last second field goal to beat Alabama 52-49. Incredible game. Hendon Hooker had almost over 500 yards of offense. The receiver, he threw 5 touchdowns to the receiver. That was insane. Just an incredible day for both of those two guys of Tennessee. And as we take a look at the new poll, Georgia's 1, Ohio State is 2, Tennessee is 3, Michigan is 4. I'm sorry about that. The pop up on my phone. Clemson is 5, Alabama is 6, Ole Miss is 7, TCU is 8, UCLA is 9, Oregon is 10, Oklahoma State is 11, USC is 12, Wake Forest is 13, Syracuse is 14, Utah is 15, Penn State is 16, Kansas State is 17, the Fighting Illini is 18, Kentucky is 19, Texas is 20, Cincinnati is 21, North Carolina is 22, North Carolina State is 23, Mississippi State is 24, and Tulane Green Wave is 25. That's your top 25 this week. Now, as we're coming up on week 8 after this week, Tuesday, right? Let's see. What's this? Today's Tuesday. Today's Wednesday the 19th. So Tuesday the 25th, we'll get the first. We'll get the first college football playoff rankings. So we're gonna have some talk about that some of that next week. But as we come up on week 18, when it comes to the top 25, not a lot here. Tennessee has their homecoming against Tennessee Martin. The biggest game looks to be maybe Clemson in the ACC. Clemson at home against the Syracuse Orange. Both teams undefeated. That could be a pretty good one. Ohio State is hosting Iowa. Cincinnati is at SMU. Wake Forest is hosting Boston College. Texas is at Oklahoma State. That could be a very good one as well. Mississippi wants to stay undefeated, going to Death Valley and LSU. UCLA and Oregon, they meet. That's a nice one too. Number 9 USA against 10 Oregon, and then in Memphis at the Green Wave of Tulane. Mississippi State takes on Alabama. See if Alabama's going to try to get back on track. See if Mississippi State can actually give Alabama a second loss. That would be pretty pretty amazing if they can do that. Penn State hosting Minnesota, um, and TCU's hosting Kansas State. So there you have it for the games inside the top 25 of the NCAA college football. Should be a very for a couple of those games, it's gonna definitely impact the rankings coming up next Tuesday. So that's gonna be fun. And next week, I will be here to recap not only what went down in Week 8, but also the college football playoff rankings as well. Before we go to the NFL, quick thing on baseball. We had a couple of baseball games yesterday. Game 5 of the ALDS between the Guardians and the Yankees went down. Yankees won 5-1 after a couple of home runs from Giancarlo Stanton and Aaron Judge helped out the Yankees beat the Guardians. They won the series 3-2. They now will face the Astros. Game 1 starts tonight at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. In the NL, they started the National League Championship Series. The Phillies beat the Padres 2-0. Kyle Schwarber with a bomb, 480-foot bomb, and Bryce Harper with a home run was the only runs scored by the Phillies. They beat the Padres 2-0. Game 2 of the NLCS happens tonight, again at 4:35 p.m. Eastern Time. We're in the NLCS now. It's going to be really good things. We're looking to see who's going to win and go on to the World Series. Should be a great time in the baseball world. And you know what? Excuse me. I'm sorry. I forgot. NBA was on last night. Opening night. There are two pretty interesting games. The Sixers, my pick for the Eastern Conference winners, and the Warriors was also on my pick for the Western Conference finalists. If you have not heard of my NBA games, of my NBA predictions, it's the episode before this one. So wherever you're listening on your podcast, just go back to the other episode. I'm sure it's there on episode 112 and on NBA awards and predictions. So we talk about that. But how do you quickly go through what happened through last night's game? First name were the Sixers and the Celtics playing in Boston tonight. There was last night was a um, very nice tribute, and this whole season is going to be a tribute to the late Bill Russell, Celtics legend, one of the all-time greats, the greatest champion in sports history. And the Celtics did him proud. Um, they were led by Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, who both had scored 35 points in their 126 to 117 victory over the 76ers. James Harden had a pretty good night, 35 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, and he led the way for the 76ers. Um, in the second game of the evening, the Golden State Warriors got their rings and took on the Los Angeles Lakers and drubbed them uh, 123 to 109. Um, Steve Kerr played like 11 people in the first half, which was insane. It's an insane type of thing to do, but he's got so much depth on their team. It's insane, and it's going to be. And this is why I chose them to win again, because not only do you have the Fantastic Four, who's the guys who got the 4 rings: Curry, Iggy, Thompson, and Green. But then you get like the new 4. You know, you got Jordan Poole, Andrew Wiggins, Jonathan Kuminga, and James Wiseman out there as well. And then you put down some of the other people who's out there as well, doing their thing. Just incredible. Um, so very interesting things. We're going to see what's happening tonight on ESPN. ESPN gets their turn for an opening night, and most of the rest of the teams all play tonight. So it's going to be really good. The NBA is back, and it might be better than ever. Week 6 of the NFL season started with my Chicago Bears hosting the Washington Commanders. They get beat 12-7. Poor Amazon Prime, they're getting not a lot of scoring on their games. Uh, only 2 touchdowns coming from this game. And the Bears went down to the red zone 3 times, came away with no points. That's not good. That's not good. Um, Bears just look dreadful on offense. Justin Fields, while he can make some plays, made a beautiful throw to Dante Pettis to score their only touchdown of the game. He's also not doing some other things as well. So um, just not good. Just missing guys, and Kirk Herbstreit on the broadcast showed you, like, there was one play where he has a guy open, he just not throwing it to him, and he missed a wide open touchdown to Ryan Griffin. Uh, went down in the red zone, but was like overthrew him or something like that. So don't know what's gonna happen. So, but yeah, Commanders beat the Bears 12-7. Also in that game, Carson Wentz fractured his finger. Looks to be out for a very good while. Commanders going to go with Taylor Heineke. Once again, I think, to be honest with you, they should have just probably went with Taylor Heineke to begin with. They probably didn't need to trade for Carson Wentz, but just neither here nor there. On to Sunday. We had the Giants make a comeback against the Baltimore Ravens, 24-20. Lamar Jackson is continuing to make my proclamation look seems strife of him as him being a not a top 10 quarterback or a top 13 quarterback. Him not playing well, not doing what he needs to do in the passing game. Don't making mistakes. Lost a fumble, threw an interception. Giants came back and won 24-20. 5-1 Giants. They are real, folks. I think you better start saying that they are real. Colts beat the Jaguars 34-27. They were without Jonathan Taylor, and they didn't need him. Mike Ryan threw the ball over 50 times and completed over 40 passes for the Colts to beat the Jaguars 34-27. Patriots under Bailey Zappi has looked good. Very good. A blowout last week of the Lions, and this week, 38-15 drubbing of the Cleveland Browns. And speaking of people who don't look good, Jacoby Brissett is not looking good. They cannot wait until Deshaun Watson gets back, I bet, because he just not played well. And they seem to be getting away from the running game as well. So, yeah, Patriots beat the Browns 38-15. Bengals 30, Saints 26. Bengals get back on track. Last week, the Steelers get bum rushed by the Bills 38-3. And they somehow come out this week and they beat the Buccaneers 20-18. I have no idea what the hell is going on with the Buccaneers. Got Tom Brady over on the sidelines, just yelling at his offensive line, knowing that telling them that they can block better and they can be better. So I have no idea what's going on. Ben Roethlisberger said on his podcast, it looks like Tom Brady doesn't want to be there. When everything that's going on with Tom Brady in his in his personal life, he probably doesn't want to be there, and that's probably unfortunate. But he's got to do it, and right now, and he's probably have to at some point. He's probably gonna at some point regret coming back, because we don't know if the thing is, if him playing the way he's playing has anything to do with what his personal life is going through. But you wouldn't be surprised if it is. So, and Kenny Pickett got hurt in that game. Mitch Trubisky came off the bench. I have not heard anything about Kenny Pickett's injury or if Mitch is starting or not, but we're waiting to see. Today's Wednesday. They're gonna get back into game mode this week for this week's game. The Falcons beat the 49ers 28-14. The Falcons are not that bad of a team as well. Marcus Mariota was 13-14. I didn't throw it 14 times, but he was very efficient on one incompletion. That tell you something. He had a rushing touchdown and 2 passing touchdowns, I believe. To help beat the 49ers 28-14. Jets, wow, they talk about another team that is for real. Both New York teams, 5-1 for the Giants, 4-2 for the Jets. Incredible. And this is another one where Zach Wilson didn't throw the ball a lot either. But their defense was stout against the Packers offense, and the Packers just doesn't seem, you want to talk about missing someone. They are missing Devontae Adams from that offense. Jets beat the Packers 27-10. Vikings went to Miami, beat the Dolphins. Skylar Thompson got injured. Another third quarterback injured, and they had to go to Teddy Bridgewater, who did pass concussion protocol, so he was able to play. But it wasn't enough for the Vikings. 24-16, Vikings beat the Dolphins. The Rams beat the Panthers 24-10. Robbie Anderson got kicked off the field for having an argument with one of his coaches and then with the head coach. And then Monday he was subsequently traded to the Arizona Cardinals as the Cardinals lost Hollywood Brown for the year with a foot injury. And speaking of the Cardinals, they lost to the Seahawks 19-9. Right now, Cliff Kingsbury is the next coach on the hot seat after Matt Rule has been fired. He is probably the next coach to probably lose his job in this middle of the season if things are happening. And that's something interesting because I think the spread offense, Kyler Murray has been in that offense from his days in high school. He's not been in a pro-style offense. He's been in the spread offense. And I think he's perfect with the spread. But are you going to? But if you were to fire Cliff Kingsbury, are you going to bring somebody in who's going to bring in another offense? Are you going to keep the same offense? Are you going to just maybe have a different offensive coordinator, something like that? It's very interesting to see what would happen if they did fire Cliff Kingsbury. Which, by the way, I think he last year got an extension. So there you have it. In the last couple of years, they've started strong and faded. They're not starting strong, and I think they might continue to fade. Seahawks beat the Cardinals 19-9. Geno Smith still balling out. Unreal. I'm going to save the game of the week for last. I'm going to go to Sunday Night Football. The Eagles beat the Cowboys 26-17. Cooper Rush kind of came back down to earth. 3 interceptions in that game. It was not effective very much in offensively. They ran the ball on the second half, and they looked like they had something going, but they couldn't keep it continued. The Eagles' defense was there, and it would stop the run and then stop him. So very very interesting game. Eagles still now 6-0, the only undefeated team in the NFL. And not last night, but 2 nights ago on Monday Night Football, the Chargers beat the Broncos 19-16 in overtime. Again, just don't know what's going on with the Broncos and Russell Wilson. It's maybe this is just one of the years where it just didn't seem right. It just didn't seem, he's gonna need another year to make it look like it's something in Denver. So that is what it is. And the Chargers are, their defense held the Chargers down. It was just kind of a weird game on Monday night. It really was. They had 4 punts in overtime, but on the fourth punt, the returner dropped the ball, fumbled it. The Chargers got it, and the Chargers kicker, who was hampered with a hamstring injury, was able to kick a good yard field goal, and he made it. And he was the interview of the game, and people were talking about it apparently on the interview. So they were talking about it online about his interview. So it was what it was. Chargers win 19-16, and like I said, save it is for last because this was the main event of Sunday. This was the Buffalo Bills at the Kansas City Chiefs. Both teams started off driving down into the other team's red zone and turning the ball over. That's amazing. But we really saw the incredible feats of Josh Allen. 3 touchdowns, one at the end of the half, and that's very funny. They scored a touchdown at the end of the half, and they had like 12 seconds left. They script kick it. They took off 3 seconds. Kansas City was still able to get 2 passes in and and kick a 62-yard field goal by Harrison Butker, who made it unreal. He was in there just killing it, and they went to halftime tied. But Josh Allen was Josh Allen, and he is the best quarterback in this league right now. And I think he has been for for the last year. He's just incredible. So if as of right now, the road to the Super Bowl goes through Buffalo, as Buffalo Bills are 5-1, and the Chiefs are 4-2. Um, so and they end up being tied because of this game. Buffalo will still end up hosting hosting all the games. So this should be fun. I hope they meet again in the playoffs, because this is just going to be incredible. So Buffalo beat the Kansas City Chiefs 24-20. Looking to Week 7 of the NFL season, tomorrow night on Amazon Prime, we get the Saints and the Cardinals. These two teams should maybe break the streak of slow scoring games, and they should put up some points. Um, or maybe not, because the Cardinals only scored 9 points. The Saints did score some other points this past week. They scored 26, so we'll see where that goes. But I'm not sure what we heard on James Winston and Michael Thomas and all those guys. Don't know if they were played or not tomorrow. But if it isn't, they're gonna go with Andy Dalton and Taysom Hill and and Alvin Kamara. So we'll see what happens tomorrow night between the Saints and the Cardinals. On to Sunday, the Browns at the Ravens. Um, Again, I just think with Jacoby Brissett back there, he's not playing well at the moment. Neither is Lamar Jackson, but I think the defense may be able to stop the run and then force Jacoby to try to beat them, and I don't think that's going to happen. So Ravens will beat the Browns, I believe. The Buccaneers and the Panthers. This should be a good get-right game for Tom Brady and that offense. Maybe score some points, make them feel good about themselves. Buccaneers will beat the Panthers. And if the Panthers do beat the Buccaneers, then I think maybe at that point you can tell that maybe you really could go back to Ben Roethlisberger and say that he is right. Tom Brady doesn't look like to be out there if if the Panthers beat the Buccaneers. The Falcons would go to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. That should be a very interesting game. The Lions are at the Cowboys. The Lions just coming up to the bye, and the Cowboys coming up the loss. This might be another loss for the Lions. Dak Prescott might be back. They've been talking about like he should be back for this game, so we'll see if Dak comes back, and we'll also see how they will act if Dak does come back. Will they try to be more pass happy, or will they do what they did with Cooper Rush and be more of a running football attack, which is what they should be with all of their weapons. Only CD Lamb really healthy. They got Michael Gallup back, but he's still coming off his injury. Giants go to Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars. This is kind of a game where the Giants could prove that they are truly, truly in this. If they go ahead and beat the Jaguars, they should. I think that they're a better team, even though Jacksonville is improved. But this is a team. This is a game the Giants should win. The Packers are at Washington. The Packers, this is talking about a get right game. This is a get right game for the Packers as well. The Commanders are going to be without Carson Wentz, going to have Taylor Heineke. Again, no Chase Young on defense. This is, Packers should, they should put up some points, get things right. They're talking about simplifying stuff. Simplify what you got to do and put on and start scoring points. You are the Green Bay Packers. You are Aaron Rodgers, one of the greats of all time. Coach at the Titans, that should be a really good one. Don't know the status of Jonathan Taylor in this one, but like we saw this past weekend, they may not need him if they're gonna throw it 50 sometimes with Matt Ryan, and of course the Titans are gonna have Derrick Henry rushing the ball, so that should be good. He's gonna be all about stopping Derrick Henry and making Ryan Tannehill beat you, which he can. He's a good quarterback. He doesn't suck like many people think he does. The Texans are at the Raiders. Both teams coming off a bye with the Texans and the Raiders. Um, Texans are just going to be the Texans, and this should be the Raiders' time to, you know, you know, get them started on a win streak. So I would expect the Raiders to beat the Texans. The Jets at the Broncos, boy, this is a good one too, right? Broncos coming up with this loss, going to be at home, but the Jets, they want to make their statement that they are for real. What's going to happen here? I think the Jets get another upset here and beat the Broncos. Chiefs, the 49ers, this should be a good one here. 49ers probably needed to win that game at the Atlanta so that they could come here and host the Chiefs. Chiefs going to be looking to rebound off of their loss to the Bills, so I think this is going to be a pretty good one. We'll see what they do. The Seahawks at the Chargers. Before the year, would have said this is a Chargers blowout, but now with Smith, this could be a high game, shoot 'em up type of game here. 40, 41 points from both teams. So, but and it's gonna be interesting. Uh, Usually, maybe a game that you wouldn't want to watch, but I think you will now. So the Seahawks are pretty good offensively. Steelers at the Dolphins Sunday Night Football. Um, don't know if Tua's gonna be back. I think I heard something about that. He's obviously cleared concussion protocol, so he'll probably be back. But I don't think they've made it official. And the studio, we don't know the status of Kenny Pickett and what's going to happen with that. Obviously, if he doesn't start, Mitch Trubisky will be there. Um, and there's the Chase Claypool, who had a great day against the Buccaneers to try to come back up and get back against these Dolphins. It's gonna be it's gonna be in Miami. Um, it's not in September, so it won't be as hot, and it's gonna be at nighttime, so it won't be as hot as normal. But if I was Miami, still, I would put on the white jerseys to make the Steelers wear those black jerseys and see if we can get those guys overheated down there in Florida. So, but that's gonna be a nice one on Sunday Night Football, and then on Monday Night Football. Sorry to the national audience. My Chicago Bears are going to be at the New England Patriots. Before the season again, we thought, well, this is going to be Justin Fields versus Mac Jones. Unfortunately, Mac Jones has an injury. So it's Justin Fields versus Bailey Zappi. And we're going to see if what Bailey Zappi doing is interesting. You know, if he can keep it continue, and we're going to see if Justin Fields can kind of, and the Bears can kind of maybe get him back on track a little bit. Well, he was never on track actually. He's been off the tracks all season long. We're gonna see if we can maybe try to get him, underailed. Maybe that's the way to put it. Try to get him underailed off the tracks. Very interested about the Patriots. A lot of talk about maybe them not going back to Mac Jones if Bailey Zappi continues to win. And I'll say this: Bill Belichick has a history of doing this. In 2001, Drew Bledsoe, not former first round pick, but number one pick overall by the Patriots, was benched for Tom Brady. Even after his injury and he was healthy, they went with Tom Brady because Tom Brady had the hot hand, and they continue to win with Tom Brady. And this could easily be again, former first round pick in Mac Jones. Comes up by Bailey Zappi. And they could clearly go Bailey Zappi if he's got the hot hand. So in college, Bailey Zappi was incredible. He had an incredible season. There were like 62 touchdowns, 5,900 yards passing. Incredible season at Western Kentucky. So maybe the Patriots have really found another quarterback in the mid to late rounds. And we may not see Mac Jones anymore in a Patriots uniform. We'll have to wait and see. But it's Monday Night Football. I love my Bears, but I'm going to pick the Patriots. I think they are going to be just Bill Belichick get something for Justin Fields coming this Monday night. All right, guys, that is it for this episode of the Game According to Me. Again, make sure you're here next week as we will go over what happened over this week in the NCAA in college football, college football and the NFL. Excuse me. And then we'll preview what went down, what's going to happen in over the next week's games. And then, of course, we'll talk about what happened in baseball as baseball its LCSs are starting. Um, and we'll probably even maybe dip into basketball a little bit if there any major basketball news or any crazy basketball starts or anything like that. So, yeah, this is the greatest time of the year, right? Football is going to its middle of the season. NBA is starting. Baseball is ending. Coming down to its final games. It's incredible. If there is any, okay, well, how do I do this? Sometimes I forget how I do this. I'm sorry. um, if you're listening to this and you feel like, hey, I want to support this brother, well, there's many ways to do it. You can do it financially and non-financially. Financially, go to anchor.fm/ under triple show, and of course there are 3 tiers there. There's a 99-cent tier, a $4.99 tier, and a $9.99 tier, which you can subscribe to the podcast and do it that way. Or you can go to patron.com/AJTRIP and become a patron. Once I hit a certain amount of patrons, you will be able to determine what you see on my YouTube channel, search AJTRIP, what you will see on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/ATriplet20. I can only play the games that I have, so but you can determine what games I play or what you would like to hear on a podcast. I have another podcast. It's called The Word According to Me. I'll have one coming out late next week, so make sure you're looking for that wherever you find podcasts. Wherever you listen to podcasts, it'll be there. It'll probably be on my YouTube channel as well. So yeah, you can do that. Or if you want to do it non-financially, well, then just make sure that you, wherever you're listening to this, you subscribe, you share this podcast, share it on all your social media. If there are like things where you can like it or rate it, make sure you rate this podcast. And yeah, that helps me out as well. So no matter wherever you do to choose, I'm just glad that you are listening to this, and I thank you so much for doing so. This is your boy AJTRIP signing off. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there. And I am out.